Welcome to the Jesus Missions Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Jesus Missions Podcast. It's January 2nd, 2026. Seth and Kevin joining us on the pod. How's it going, boy?
It's so early. It's 10 a.m.
Hey,
So early.
it's 10:30. Okay, I know we were just talking about waking up. Be honest with me. What time do you guys wake up this morning? Now it's conviction time.
8:30.
Seth, you woke up at 9:30?
I woke up at 9:30.
He's a sleepy
I'm
boy.
trying to do better at it. The thing is and this may or may not be excused, but I really am the most productive at night. So
Yeah,
I'll
everybody
go
says that.
into, I do, I am. I'm the
Every
most
creative.
right before bed. And
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out, honestly, figure out my body with sleep because it's weird because I can't calm my mind down. Like even when I hit if I am disciplined and I go to bed at 10, I still won't go to sleep until like midnight.
Do you know why?
Because
Do you know why?
going to
Because
sleep.
you're waking up at 9:30 a.m. Dude, if you wake
I
up...
wake up early. Even when
Nah,
I wake
dude.
up early, I still my brain wants to stay awake.
There's a few principles here.
Yeah,
One is the basics are don't have caffeine after 1 or 2 p.m. Don't be on your phone an hour before you go to sleep. So if you're gonna go to sleep at 10, be off your phone by 9. Be
Yeah.
off screens. Go read a book.
Yes.
You work out hard. I don't know. Do whatever you want to do in
I
life.
know.
I'm not here to tell anybody what to do.
I do see it. One thing that I've
But
committed.
that's not going to work with kids.
I don't have any. The one thing that I'm committing to do though, because it was a bad habit, is I'm putting my phone in the other room when I sleep, and I don't want it because anytime I wake up, straight to the phone, and usually it'll be something to turn off the alarm, but then my eyes see a new email, a new text, and
Yeah.
that's when I'm gone. I'm in bed just scrolling for
That was the best thing I've done now is, I have my phone as my alarm, but as soon as I turn off my alarm, I don't look at my phone for 1 hour. So if I wake up at 5, I don't look at it until after 6. And that's really nice on your brain in the morning, is just to open
That's
up
what
the
I
word. Yeah, it's good. It's just a discipline,
Yep. Yep. Well,
Okay,
they say that your brain is the most aware, in the first minute that you're awake. It's weird. There's
Hey,
different.
shout out to the John Bevere podcast. He just did it.
yes.
Oh, you
did
heard
he?
this piece?
Yeah, that's
Did
the
He
he
did
one.
a whole thing on this.
Yeah,
He
it's
did a
him and
whole
his
thing
son.
on this.
Yeah.
I want to find
I don't
out.
remember. I gotta re-listen to it, but there's crazy stages in your brain as soon as you
Yes.
wake up that you gotta
Mhm.
take advantage of.
Within the first hour, it's got this and it's kind of like how God set up our bodies, to almost be receiving from Him early in the morning, and a lot of Scripture backs it up. So anyway, shout out to John
There's
Bevere.
the mental states of I think because I was just reading, not in the John Bevere thing. I would like to see that podcast now, but there's the alpha, beta, theta state or whatever.
Yeah,
And
it's
apparently
that.
you're in
That's
the
it.
most.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what he was talking about.
Yeah, and you're the most receptive and then the most creative. And I'll be in prayer sometimes, and I'm like, man, I'm getting flooded with all these ideas. What's going, and it can be distracting almost. And then I wake up, I start my day, I've done the prayer, and I'm like, what were all those ideas?
Well, interestingly, when we 3 years ago when I first had this word about Jesus missions, I was going to the gym to the 5 a.m. CrossFit class. So back then I used to wake up at 4:15, I think, and I would get to the gym by 4:30 because I wanted 30 minutes in my car, in the parking lot before I would go into the gym and work out, just to pray. And that's when I was getting a lot of stuff just from, even the word Jesus
Yeah.
missions came to me at 4:30 in the morning in my car. And I thought it was another organization. And that's why I was like, okay, I think the Lord's telling me to partner with this organization. It wasn't one, so we started it. And but there were a lot of things like that in the early days that came from those early mornings, sitting in my car in that parking lot at 4:30. And so it is interesting.
I feel like God built me different, and I get those thoughts.
That's what every night owl says.
Yeah.
Dude. And every
I literally will be in bed about to sleep, and I get a new idea for content I have to get up and record.
That's the trap. But then you got to train your circadian rhythm too, because obviously as my there'll be segments where I'll be going to bed at 3 a.m. And I'm just and it just pushes it out. But then you wake up later, and then you go to bed later, and then you wake up later. But if you just have a hard 10 p.m. cutoff, and just train it, because you're like, oh, Seth, there was times I remember you were waking up early. You would be up at like 7 a.m.
The
Dude,
other hard part that's changed a little bit. Wait. The other, and
Yeah.
I'm not making excuses, but I kind of am. Is that one of the things that I do to make money is I do events, and usually they're from 7 to like 2 a.m. in the morning.
That's reasonable.
Like
Yeah.
3 out of 7 days out of the week, I'm doing those events. So it's hard to like get on a constant schedule when 3 of those nights you're up till 2 a.m. and all that. But I'm gonna figure it out. I know that's not an excuse. I apologize.
I just think 9:30 to me. Here's why 9:30 is crazy. Like a sleep-in to me is like 7 a.m. I'm like, holy cow,
That's
dude.
crazy.
I don't think the last time I slept till 9:30 a.m. was, I like literally can't remember. Like college, like when I was 21. I'm 34 now. Like I literally don't remember.
Sleeping for me is like 10, 11.
Sleeping for me is like 9. That's like a Saturday.
Dude, you
like, I
guys'
wake up
times are
9.
crazy. 11, dude, half the day. Dude, if I wake up late, I feel like FOMO of the day. I'm like, dude, I just lost the day.
Oh, I do feel that.
Oh my god.
That's why I don't. But yeah. I just gotta try. But when do you normally go to bed? Like, what's your pattern for
10 for average.
Okay.
like with all those kids? You can go to bed at 10.
Well, I get my kids down every night by 7 usually.
Oh dang, their bedtime's 7. I remember as a kid,
Dude, they're young. They're like 5, 4, 2, and
8 o'clock was bedtime.
These aren't like teenagers.
7 people were still playing in the cul-de-sac.
No, right now it gets dark at like 4:50. In summertime, Eddie and Riker, now they're older, they'll probably go to bed at like 8 in this summer. But right now it's winter, it's dark by 5, so it's already dark for like 2 hours by the time they go to bed, right? So it's kind of a long...
I feel like that's good parenting. I have like, I'll be at a movie. It'll be like a 9 p.m. movie, and like kids are there. It's like, this movie's 3 hours. Like,
what I would do. I'd bring
what are you doing? Like, this kid's not like, what?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that.
I don't trust parents to let their kids stay up late. My bedtime was 8 p.m. when I was growing up. I had to be in bed at 8 p.m. I always wanted to stay up later because like Nickelodeon had some great shows or whatever. They had like the late night, I think it was called the Roundhouse, and I was like, I want to watch Roundhouse. It doesn't start till 9. Like,
okay. Before we move on, Kevin, what's your time you woke up?
yeah. So this morning is 8:30. It was a little later,
Wow,
but typically it's like between 7:30 and 8, and then I start my prayer, and then I start work between like. Lately, I've been a little lax with that. I start work around 9:30, 10. But like, that's the benefit of this job as well.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this job, so I've got a little flexibility.
You're right, Rich.
Yeah.
You need to get up earlier. I
All
apologize.
right. I'm going to push you.
I feel it too. I feel like bed earlier.
He's going to be my wake-up call, dude. He's going to wake
Yeah, I'll wake you up.
Hey,
I'll give you the 5 a.m. wake up call.
Rich,
I can be on my phone for the first hour. So
See, this is why I put
okay.
my phone in the other room.
So he can't hear you.
He can't even.
He can't get the call.
All right, here's guys. Here's what we're going to cover. Everybody
what's
for
the topic?
listening now that we've. You tell us when what time you wake up. And January 2nd, maybe set a late resolution to wake up a little earlier. Here's what we're going to cover today. We're going to cover everything for Jesus Missions 2026. We're entering into year 3 of Jesus Missions. We've been on 2 trips in the Himalayas. We're shooting the short film in the Himalayas. We have some incredible open doorways. We're going to just talk a little bit about that. And then we're going to talk about upcoming trips for this year. So, and one of these will be a surprise to these guys. But you guys know Himalayas, you know Burundi, and then the other one possibly on the cards, and a new podcast coming next week with a guest, Pakistan. And so I'm going to get into that.
Isn't DJ on that one? DJ is like,
DJ wants to go
Pakistan. Let me know.
Yeah. So we're going to get into what that's about, and I'm going to share with everybody about some pretty amazing stuff that's happening over there with setting slaves free. There's an estimated today 50 million people are in slavery, estimated today across the world. And I know I might be cutting out a little bit. And then there's 3 million in Pakistan, families in slavery. So we're going to talk a bit about that. So, and what we can do to set slaves free. And, but first, let's talk about the film. Guys, we made a film in 2025.
Turn around. Show them.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Show the merch. You can get it at JesusMissions.com. No, you can't. But you will.
But you can get on our app, on our Play Store.
Once it's available, you can get it, but not right now.
We are going to have some merch coming pretty soon. So if you're listening and you're wanting Jesus Missions merch and to support all the missions we're doing abroad to reach unreached people groups and to set slaves free, I know people want to partner and support with that kind of work. And it's really hard work to get Bibles to the most remote villages in the world. It's risky to go to places in the Middle East where Christians are persecuted and to set slaves free and pay off lifetime debts. But we're going to be doing this kind of work. And so, film, for anybody that's listened, we have this film that God just put on my heart a long time ago to build because 3.4 billion people around the world have never heard the gospel or the name of Jesus. In fact, estimated of the 3.4 billion is 2.5 billion have never heard the name of Jesus, but 3.4 billion are unreached. And so, we're like, man, nobody really knows this. I didn't know this. These guys, I don't think, had you guys ever heard that?
Nope.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And like I've been a believer since I was 8 years old. And I'm like, I thought missions was just building houses and orphanages and like humanitarian aid. And then you're like, oh, it's actually missions is getting the gospel to the ends of the earth because crazy enough, how do we miss it? Matthew 28:18, Jesus' final words are, go to every people group on earth and preach the gospel. And we are under this assumption that that's just being done, right? You kind of think because the whole world's like travel so accessible and like from those early days, like everything's spread. Everybody has cell phones, even in like villages in the Himalayas, people have cell phones. You're like, oh, everybody knows the gospel. But the reality is, most have no idea. And even if they've like heard of the name of Jesus before, this is how I liken it to. And this is a controversial way of likening it to something, but it's like you being unreached from another religion. So let's say to a Muslim, you're an unreached Muslim because you might know of Muhammad, but you haven't ever been like preached from the Quran from a devout Muslim who like can't, you know what I mean? So like even for you, maybe even kind of know a little bit, but you've never heard it. That's like unreached. So it's there's places like that in the world where like even places that are modern that aren't as remote as the Himalayas, like modern day Turkey, which is where the original 7 churches were, now is a really subdued nation to Christianity, even though it's one of the first thriving places for Christianity. Many people there now are massively unreached, even though they have like cell phones and internet and all that stuff, because they're just like, they have their religion that they believe in, right? And so they're not looking for something else. And yet Jesus's final words to us were, go to those people groups. So why do we make the film? Because we realized, man, most Christians, 2.5 billion Christians in the world, and most of them don't know what the final commandment of Jesus was to go to those people groups. So we're like, dude, let's go to the Himalayas and let's make a film, and let's highlight to the world through a really captivating story what Jesus wants to do and how Christians today can still go and actually do it. Put a Bibles on your back and get engaged. Tell me your guys' perspective, just like on what do you guys think about like missions now versus like what you kind of used to think it was and how that's changed over time.
Yeah, well, I'll say my experience with missions was very minimal in the sense of, like, I know our church sent people off, and so every once in a while there'd be a couple that went on stage, and we would pray for them, and they'd be like, "This couple's going to Georgia, not the States, the country," and everyone's like, "Oh, okay, cool," and then they'd throw up a QR code and be like, "If you want to support them," and that's all my experience with missions. And then sometimes there'd be like local missions trips where you're going to the next city and building, or painting houses or whatever. And that was my only experience with missions. And so I just was kind of taught that, like, oh, it's like these people are doing this because they really want to go and travel and live somewhere else. And the Christian part is just a bonus.
Travel.
Yeah. And so that I was like, okay, cool. And so I never really took missions as like a command. And that's what it is. Missions is a command in the Bible. It's not a suggestion. It's not like, if you want to do this, it's a opportunity for you. It's an actual command, and that's why I think there's 3.2 billion people that are unreached, because people took it as a suggestion. And now it's going to the Himalayas and making this film. It's just really made me 180 my perspective and see that this is, if you're it's almost like those countries like South Korea. It's like, if you're able-bodied, go to the military, at least serve for a couple years, get trained, and then go and do your life. If you want to stay in the military, stay in the military. I kind of see that from a mission perspective. I think it should be the same way. As a Christian, it should be, hey, you're
That's good.
able-bodied, go and do something. And if God is calling you to that, or something else within the mission field, great. If not, and God's calling you somewhere else to be a doctor or whatever, also great.
Yeah.
I don't want
to. Those things are avenues, right? Like being a doctor, being a builder, being whatever. Like those are tools that give you like almost like access or like a reason to go, because through works you can help people, right? So you can give them clean water and you can give them these things, but for the ultimate purpose of like, man, we want them to know that they have a savior who died for them and forgives them of their sins. And how selfish are we if we just keep that to ourselves? And I think another document we should look at on a future podcast is, there's a study that was done by a university that shows like, basically the global church has the ability, like today, to complete the Great Commission. They have 9,000% of the resources and 3,000% the manpower. So way above what's needed. You only need 100%. We have 9,000% resources, 3,000% manpower to complete it. And yet the truth is, most people just don't even know. They're like, how do I even get involved? And so and it's confusing. It is confusing. It was confusing for me to get involved. I think there's these two big things, these two pillars that I aim to take down, right? One is awareness. We make a film. The other one is how. Like there's so many avenues. There's so many different types of missions. There's so many different nations and cultures. How? We have an app. We're developing the Jesus Missions app. And, I mean, the map system right now, the baby steps to get involved in missions, it's all like, it's really, I was showing it to my in-laws this morning. They're staying with me right now. And like, they were just like, wow, I had no idea you're doing it. And I was just cool to share it with them. And, so again, another thing that'll just walk you through how to get involved, because God bless missionaries, but they live in the 90s still. And their websites are just old and outdated, and there's no slick system. It's like Windows, whatever the early
Windows.
Windows.
I'm not too sure if this is real or not. Like, I don't want to send money here. Like,
yeah, it is like that. Yeah.
It's got the little like submit button. It's like the old HTML formatting.
Yeah. So I think that's why we need these two pillars, as like a really easy path and on-ramp for either a church or an individual. Like if a church is like, hey, because what we know is less than 1% of churches in America regularly outreach to their own city, let alone nations. So 300,000 churches in the States, less than 1% of them are regularly outreaching. So if you're not doing that to your own city, you're not doing that to nations. So it's like, hey, how can we empower, encourage, and resource churches and individuals to go out and begin to reach locally and globally, right? That's kind of what we're doing. But Kev, tell me what are your thoughts and perspectives?
I kind of like Seth. I was pretty minimal in the world of like what's missionaries. I was raised Catholic, so I think like, I feel like growing up, like a missionary was a word I heard, but like as a Catholic, you don't really, I mean, to my understanding, you're not like, they're not sending people out to missions. So then I got saved, or, that's the term for the Christian. I ended up jiving more with Christianity. And so, I have turned my life over to Jesus in that way. However, I mean, if you're Catholic and love Jesus, I've got nothing to say. Like, you're fine. So here we are going on a different tangent. So yeah, for me, missions work, it was like the building homes. Like I have a cousin, and they're also Christian. She had gone out, they went to like Israel and stuff. And, I guess like growing up, I'd be like, why would you ever do that? Like, because these are nations where, you wipe with the left hand, after you use the
Right.
restroom. And you usually it's just like things in the street. You just kind of go in that little hole in the street. And I'm just like, why would you do that? Why? That's crazy. And then, I get saved and I was like, oh, because of, scripture and
He
everything.
started doing it here in America. I'm like,
So
Kevin,
what's
no,
that?
it's okay. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. No, stop that. Stop that.
Kevin, stop. You don't have to.
I realized getting saved and I was like, well, I'm not traveling at the moment. So like I'll do missionary work here. And I was kind of in that camp of like, oh, we don't have to go abroad so much because there's such a need here. But I know the combat argument to that is like, yeah, but there's also a lot more people here in America than, anywhere else
whole
that
Middle
is an
East.
unreached nation. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say that was and I think I know there's people from our church. I mean, like Ben and Vicky come up like very strongly. Like Vicky had done missions work, and I know even our friend KT like does missions work. And I guess I kind of knew missions through that filter of like, oh, just some of the people at church really like this, so that's what they do. Versus me, I was like, oh, it's not on my radar. But Rich, it wasn't on your radar when you had the story of X amount of years ago, you're sitting with your brother-in-law and you're like, there's no way I'm moving to Africa. Like,
Yeah.
and here we are.
Yeah, I think it's part of it is like, okay, so we don't know. Yeah, like I said, when I got that test and it said like, oh, you're gonna be a missionary like 10 years ago, and I was like, I'm not moving to Africa. And then we're talking about going to Africa this year. But
You're not moving to Africa.
I'm
but
not
we're
moving
gonna
there
go.
yet.
Remember.
Who knows, dude?
Exactly.
Who knows? But I think what it comes down to is like there's an uncomfortable truth that is it would be really convenient if somebody else just went and did it. But the truth is, and here's an even harsher truth about missions. You want the harsh truth? Here's the harsh truth.
Please give it.
In the world today, I'm going to give you some crazy numbers right now. 2.5 billion Christians. I don't know where they are at in their faith, but there's 2.5 billion across the world. Out of that number, 400,000 are missionaries. Now, you might think, okay, well, that's not bad. We're like 500,000 missionaries across the world. That seems like a pretty good number. I'll give you a harsh reality to that. Less than 1%. No. Is it 3%? Less than 3%, which is 12,000 of the 400,000 are going to unreached people groups. So there are 3.4 billion unreached people, and only 12,000 people are going to reach the 3.4 billion. What are most missionaries doing? They're not doing something bad, but they're just going to places that already have well-established Christian communities where, like, if people want to engage in their faith, they can go to church, right? Or they can, like, they'll know Christians, they'll be in their friend group, but like unreached people means like nobody around you's Christian. There's probably no churches in your nation. Like, there's no Bibles. There's nothing. Like, the only way is if somebody comes from far off to come and deliver you the message of Christ. And there's only 12,000 people doing that around the world. It is an extremely low, shockingly low number of how many people are doing that. And the uncomfortable reality is, like Amy Simple McPherson once said, if you really want to know what it'll cost you, it will cost you everything.
Yeah.
Because, and the Bible says, if you love your life, you'll lose it. But if you lose your life for my sake, you'll save it or you'll find it. And it's like, man, it's really uncomfortable. And look, dude, it hasn't even cost me that much, dude. I haven't like moved even to a nation yet because we're so focused on building resources for Christians, which is funny because we're coming at it with Jesus missions from a totally different angle.
Backwards.
We're doing it backwards because I'm like, well, there's a bigger issue at play here. And the bigger issue, because I could just go and move to a nation right now to the Middle East. And if I'm like listening to the Holy Spirit and I feel like that's there, I'll go and do it. But I was saying this to Alicia the other day, like people all the time get called to start churches, but most of them are getting called to start churches like in another state in America, right? And so I'm like, why is that? Like, and it's like, well, those people, how can the Lord call them somewhere that they don't even know the reality about? how can God call you to closed nations if you don't even know there's such a thing as a closed nation or unreached people groups, and don't realize the reality of how far the gospel hasn't gone? Like, it's literally like in Romans 10:14, it says, how can they believe if they have not heard? Like, well, how can God call you if you haven't heard?
Yeah.
Right? Like, if you haven't heard how far the gospel has not gone in our world today, God can't be calling you there. So I think for most people, it's like if God's going to speak to them, he needs to use things like give resources that like pull the scales off people's eyes and bring this awareness to like, hey, here's actually what's going on in the world. Let's peel some layers back here. There's slavery, there's persecution. It's not like what you think it is in America. And again, does that mean everybody should be going and trekking Bibles in the Himalayas? It doesn't. It doesn't. A lot of it means a lot more resources, a lot more support needs to go to complete Bible translation, to help build churches in those nations, to help build sustainable infrastructure. But it does require like this paradigm shift of like, I thought the world was this way and Christianity was one way, but it's actually, there's a whole lot more going on in our globe that I had no idea about. And now that I do, I can do something about it.
Right.
Right.
And I think what we're doing and what we're praying for with this film is that it just, one, educates, because it all starts with just being educated and knowing that, because if you don't know something's happening, how can you fix it, right? So educating, that's number one. Number two is inspiring people to be like, hey, like this is something that is very feasible that any one of you that's watching can do, right? And I think, I'm not going to name names, but there are people that hear what I did, went to the Himalayas.
Say the names. No, don't say the names.
Sorry. They like, you're just entertaining. You're almost you're marketing it. You're exploiting it. You're just like trying to find a good piece of content and doing that. It's not really good. It's not really mission work. You just did it to, because you're an actor and that's what, and I was like, are you like that? If we're not doing it in every kind of medium that is popular in this world, and us as Christians are shy about it and be like, okay, that seems sinful, so I don't know if we should make a movie about it because it's really to entertain people, blah blah blah. And the thing is then the enemy will just take it over, and all that'll be out there content wise will be stuff that is not good for you, to watch. And I just think of films like, for example, one film, Blackfish. Do you guys know Blackfish, the film?
No.
It was about orcas and the mistreatment of orcas.
Oh, yeah, I do know.
Okay, yeah, I do remember that.
It was a documentary that just exploded, right? And tons of people watched it. People were, one, educated, they were inspired, entertained, and then after that documentary, which was a huge hit, that mission, with captivity with orcas, there was a difference that was made, and people saw that, and people wanted to make a change, and people were brought to action with it. And that's kind of like what we're trying to do. Is it's like we're not trying to like exploit Christianity or missions work or anything.
I am.
Okay, fantastic. All right.
That's our leader.
But we're literally just saying like, hey, like what can we do to inspire as many people as possible to go?
Here's the irrefutable word that people cannot deny. Jesus's final words were, "Go and preach to all people groups on earth." And yet today, 7,000 people groups have not heard of the news of Christ. So you're like, well, it's Jesus' commandment. And here's an interesting thing that happens. If you tell people you're doing missions work, they're like, "Oh, cool. Where are you going?" And then they think you're going to do the typical stuff, right? Like you're going to go work at an orphanage, or you're going to go feed the hungry somewhere, or you're going to go build a school, and they want to hear about it. And then when you tell them you're going to go preach the gospel to people who've never heard it, there's actually this weird shift that happens where they actually don't think it's as cool. Or they don't think it's as like, or they're kind of like a little taken back by it. This is a really weird phenomenon that I've seen when I talk to even Christians about it, because there's this thing of like, well, they want you to ruffle any feathers, or like, well, just be kind to the culture. And I'm like, be kind to the culture? We're bringing them the word of life for the man who died for their sins. Like, I'm being the kindest I could possibly be to these people, because this message was like happened 2,000 years ago, and them and their ancestors have been living and never hearing it. And so like, people have this weird thing where they think it's like we're doing something wrong, and I'm like, dude, what would it now? The other stuff is good, the medical aid, the feeding the hungry, those are all, but if you just did all those things, if you just fed somebody, right, and you built them a nice house and you got them a good education and you never preach them the gospel, the Bible says, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world yet forfeit his soul? So like, dude, we're doing the thing that's going to give them an eternity. Right? I'm not giving them an eternity. I'm not saving them. I'm just telling them about the guy who did. And I'm not doing it from a place of like, I'm better than you. I'm just doing it from a place of like, hey, we just want. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah, I can't hear you. I mean, I can't hear whatever you're hearing.
Okay.
There was like a plane, almost sounded
It
like
sounded
a plane.
like a plane.
By.
It's the devil.
My window, that's always.
What the way I wanted to envision it, to envision it is, say there's a group of people that are sick, that have cancer, and you had cancer but got the cure, right?
Yeah, that's
and
good.
so you're like, oh, this is great, and then now you're excited and you want to bring the cure to these people that have cancer, and you're going to tell people that have already been cured, hey, just so you know, like, there's people over there that's not cured yet, like, we got to go bring them the cure. And they're like, I don't know, they might like being sick, or I think that'll ruffle some feathers if you bring them a new product or you bring them something else. It's like, what are you talking about? They're dying, we worked from it, why are we not bringing the cure to them?
So good.
See it as something.
It's like, oh no, they'll think we're just too like smarty pants, like we have the answer, the cure, and it's like they're dying. We have
We're literally dying. What do you want us to do? And it's just such a tool that the enemy uses, and I think a lot of those kind of mindsets, and I mean, at the end of the day, sin is pride. I think pride is the root. I mean, the Bible says it. The pride is the root of evil, and when we're prideful in the sense of like, okay, we have all this, we live lavishly, we live here, and we're doing what we can, feeding the hungry every now and then, and all that. People don't really want to take that next step, you know.
And I think, I think that is almost the jam up. Like, it's easier to criticize something if you don't want to do it. And it's just like, there's all these waves of criticism at certain things, but I feel like what I love about Fearless LA, which is like our church, is it's always a matter of like, if you see something, and like the trash is an awesome example, because at all of our like X18 nights or something, trash is overflowing, and they're like, don't wait. If you see it, don't wait for someone. Don't teeter, build your little tower on top of the trash mountain. Just take it out. Like, it's your house. Just take it out. I think people would rather like point, be like, oh, I don't want to, and they'll make excuses, right?
When someone criticizes what someone else is doing, they are also at the same time justifying why they don't do it.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
There's like a holy conviction you get when you see somebody doing something and then you're not doing it. And so you got to find a reason for why you're not doing it.
You want to fight against it, which is that whole thing. It's like, oh, it's messy. I don't, and then you come up with all those excuses of like, oh, that's for someone else. Oh, that you can't be me. Like,
there's like when I worked at Kmart in New Zealand, when I was like 16.
But also, you say Kmart's in New Zealand, we're like,
wait, Kmart's
they're nice. They're nice.
Yeah,
they're
Kmart's are like Target.
Kmart's like Target, okay? In New Zealand, it's nice. And but I worked at a Target, even if I didn't, doesn't matter where I work. But I had a manager who gave me this good life lesson that always stuck with me. When I was like we were walking past like an aisle, and it was a bunch of mess, and we were cleaning it up. And one day he was like, hey, he just said to me, the standard that you walk past in this store is the standard you set. And so if you walk past a dirty aisle, you're setting that standard for the store. Like that's our standard. So if you want it to be clean, go and clean the aisle. And I just stuck with me. I was like, no matter if you walk by it, you're saying that's okay.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's taking extreme ownership and accountability to be like, hey, I see the mess. I'm going to be a part of cleaning it up. Even though it's inconvenient for me or it's not part of my job, I'm not one of those. I'm not like the aisle guy whatever, like I'm on checkout, I'm on security, I'm on whatever. It's like, no, it's ownership. Like, do you take ownership? So this is God's creation. This is God's world. These are his sons and daughters. We are a part of his kingdom. He calls us kings. He calls us sons in his house. And so are we going to take responsibility for people that he's asked us to go reach and say, man, it's going to be inconvenient for me. My life may not look all the way I wanted it to be, because before I kind of had this idea of like how it might look, but now like this is too important. And I think we've got to shift our perspective of what's your value of this life? Is this life really that important? This is not your eternity. This is temporary. And how you live now sets up how you live later in eternity. So do everything you can now to serve unto the Lord and to lead others to him. Because like if you get before his throne room, knowing what you know, and you didn't do enough with it, where you just kind of coasted and cruised because it was a little bit inconvenient for you, or it was going to stretch your capacity more than you wanted it to, it's going to be uncomfortable, man, that's going to be a really scary moment when you stand before God and you're like, crap, I should have just rolled up my sleeves and put in those years of work, because like now I have eternity waiting for me, and I have to answer to the king for why I wasn't obedient to what he told me to do.
Yeah.
I was reading this blurb on like someone who went to heaven, and just talking about all these, because sometimes God takes people up and everything. It happens in the Bible, and he was just saying how amazing everything was and just different. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's going to be our eternity. Like it's almost like that FOMO. Like you don't want to get there and see all these people or like who've done these great things, and you're like, well, I missed it. Or it's kind of like if let's just say like a New Year's Eve or something, like everyone went out, you're like, oh, I'll just stay home, and then you see like, oh, it was such a good time, and you're like, oh yeah, I could have gone. Like I don't want to get to heaven and have FOMO of like, because the only thing you can't do in heaven is evangelize, because everyone there knows Jesus. So
yeah, wow.
And it did kind of awaken. I love those stories. I would read those books when I was like a few years in, just the people that had gone to heaven, and it's always so inspiring. And we have to be, I don't know what preacher says it, if it's like a John Bevere or something, but it's like we have to be heaven minded, like the Bible says set your mind on things above. What's that, Seth?
Eternity minded. Eternal
minded.
Eternity
mindset,
but live like Jesus is coming back today.
Right.
And plan for eternity, but live like Jesus is coming back today.
Beautifully said. Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
So this is why we're making the film.
Yeah.
Right. And so what's so cool about this is just this amazing opportunity we have, and this is what I want people to hear, is where we're at with our film, right? Because we shot 9 months ago, and we had this door that's open for us. Still, when I like say it, I'm like, I can't believe this is the doorway for us. Like, if I would have thought this opportunity would have opened for us at the start of it, this would have been like kind of like the biggest I could dream, almost, like for the direction we're headed, which is because I had this word, I had this film. I haven't acted or done anything in the creative world in 12 years because I've just been serving the church. And then I feel like God gives me this word about missions. What is that? What was that response? So old.
Disciples, man.
Hey, 12 years.
This was the Lord's timing, and I had this word about missions. Brings me back to filming, which I never thought I would do, and then we go and shoot a short film, and then I'm like, I don't know what's next. I just know like we got to go make this film, and then we send it to Kappa Studios. So they are the guys who do. There's that sound again.
Yeah, I'm getting that feedback noise again.
Is it you, Kevin? Try to mute.
Well, I just hit mute.
It's Seth. I'm gonna mute you, Seth, for a second. I don't know what it is. I muted you. I'll just keep going for a second. So we unmute when you're ready. So we emailed Kappa Studios, the guys who made like The Chosen. They were involved with Sound of Freedom, with the Reagan film about the president, bunch of films, big studio now, and they have their own amazing testimony that we'll share one day. But they're like Kappa Studios in Burbank, like where all the major studios are, Warner Bros., Paramount, all these guys. They are the like mecca of Christian art right now. Like any major Christian production is going through Kappa Studios, and they have like major players from other studios leaving to go work for them because they're just like, I mean, they're just literally blowing up as like this huge, like knowing publicly we are Christian content into the film world, and they're having massive success. They don't do anything with short films, but we sent them what we had. We didn't even send them a film. We just sent them like a little bit of footage and a trailer and some stills, and they emailed us back and said, "We feel like God is doing something with your project," and so they got on a call with me, and they believe in what we're doing, and they want to help produce this film. So this is where we're at. We have this film with Kappa Studios right now. They just want to raise a little more money to get the film out there. So if you, well, actually, we could put the link in this bio to this clip, but it's Kappa Studios or Kappa Impact is where you go. And actually, Seth, you might even be able to put that in the chat if you go to Kappa Impact and go to our project. And I could get you the link if you need it. I'll text it to you real quick, because then people can go check this out.
Yeah. Do you still get the
Yeah,
feedback?
we
We
still
get
hear
it,
a bit of
yeah.
that wind.
That's weird.
Okay, I just texted in the Jesus Missions text. But yeah, they want to do this film, but they want to raise about $80,000 so they can get. I mean, they have the most high end editors, VFX artists, sound engineers, all these guys from like massive studios have just come over to begin to work for them. So they obviously got to pay all their guys to do it. So, but they believe in our project and a crazy open door. I mean, I don't know. You guys have anything to say about that? But like for me, I'm just like blown away that we have this open door for our film with them.
I think the gravity of having a studio, this is like, to put it in perspective for like everyone, it's almost like having like Marvel Studios. It's like the Christian Marvel Studios, like,
Yeah.
having such connections and that also just tells me the God door, because I know prior to Kappa, I know we were shopping around ideas, getting it out there, and it's like the fact that Kappa picks it up, and then Rich, I know you had a meet with them, and I don't know how much you want to share, but like
Yeah,
the
we can
fact
share.
that went so well, and then for me, I love that they're 100% behind Christian content, and and it's like you had said, so you can testify to this, Rich. It's just like everyone there is prayed up, believes in it, wants it, and I'm like, well, that just sticks comfort in my heart, because I think the problem with sometimes like Christian content is people are in it for the money. And here's the thing, make money. That's fine. Like, we need money. Money is a resource. Money is a tool. But sometimes you get too much on that money scale, and it's like your values start to dip. And it's the classic trap of the enemy. And it's why sometimes I think, like, there's someone that comes to mind who, I won't say names, just, who cares, but I won't say names. They're super famous. Everyone knows them. And, Christian artists for a little while. And now it just seems like it's kind of fallen off. And it's like, I wonder what didn't work out for him as a Christian, where he was like, I'll go back, or was it a fad? And I was believing, I was like, man, this guy's like Christian. That's awesome. Like, what a big impact he's going to have.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of like we don't really hear from him. It's like, oh, okay. Well, I guess it wasn't, it, does your Christianity extend to as far as it is successful? And if your Christianity is not successful, are you, do you give up on God? And I think like a big thing in this culture, and kind of like we were talking before this podcast, it's just, as Americans, we are very, very like privileged, I'd say, like to have a roof over your head, I mean, all three of us have internet, obviously. We all have computers, TVs, cell phones, like that's more than a lot of these people have.
Yeah.
And, dude, am I good?
Yeah, you're
good.
good. You sound
cool.
good now.
One thing I wanted to add to that, Kevin, with Kappa and everything else is, I don't know if anyone else has seen this shift in content and how the Christian content has just elevated in such a dramatic way in the past 5, 6, 7 years than it ever has before. Because I remember when I was younger, like, yes, we would watch like Veggie Tales and, some of the other like focus on the family type films, and it was almost like soap opera-ish, and it was hard to watch. Let's just say that. And so, but it's almost like it's like these Bible stories, they're so cool, and it's like no one's really ever tapped into it until now, until Angel Studios, until people are seeing like, gosh, this is a gold mine, what's in the Bible here, right? And so we're hoping just with our film is, I mean, I don't want to say like make missions trips cool, but why not show it in a light where it's like, hey, like this is feasible, this is something that you can do, and there's a lot of things that goes on here that you probably can't even you haven't even thought of, right?
It is, honestly, it is kind of making it cool, to be honest, like in a way, because for me it is extremely cool. Like when I heard about these guys trekking Bibles on their backs to the farthest villages on earth, I'm like, that's really cool.
Right.
Cool.
You
I
know?
mean, they have
And
movies that show like firefighters, you know, and like the cool firefighter and people and firefighters. It's a job. It's a dangerous job that when you actually get into it, most people will probably quit. Or like Marine SEALs, those are cool, you know. And it's like people aren't complaining when they make a SEAL movie and show this, and they're like, oh, they were making it cool. It's not, you know, that's not. They're exploiting it, whatever. But it's not. It's just showing like this is cool. This is
And
cool stuff. Sorry,
it's the
Rich.
reality. Like I think what we did in Nepal was really cool. I mean, like we met some incredible guys like Pastor Chandra out there who like I think we all still keep in contact with. Like I wouldn't change that experience. Even like our toughest days, those are the days you remember most, is the baptism scene when it started to storm right after. It's like this stuff was cool. Like you know, it is cool.
yeah, we need to do just a whole episode just on like being out there with a few of the guys in the film and just talking about some of those experiences, because it's pretty wild. But anyway, we have this open door. Obviously, this is a short film for us, and then we're believing that like it's going to be a proof of concept for the feature. So we're writing the feature film. I'm writing it, and I'm believing that like that's the next step. But just to have this door. I met with the guys right before Christmas at Kappa. They took me through their whole studio, showed me all their rooms with their editing and VFX and all the stuff, and just amazing facilities. But more than that, it's just a spirit these guys carry of like, I mean, I got off calls previously with other guys who are like kind of like Hollywood elites or whatever, or guys who are in these big spaces who might want to partner on the film. And I just felt these red flags every time. Like they were trying to get something out of it. Like this is a money grab for them, you know? And these guys are like, we just feel like the Lord's, you know, because even for them, it's a risk. Because like we don't even do short films, you know? But they're like, we're going to take it on because we feel like God's wanting to do something. And prayed with them in their office. And that was like led by them. It was just really cool and how impacted they were by even more of the stories they got to share with them about what we're doing and filming out there. So I'm just super excited for where this is going and for everybody that's behind it. And so lots more to come there. And Seth, maybe if you grab that link, if you can, I text it to you.
I do have it, but I'm not a producer
Oh,
on this.
okay. Then we'll put it in the bio below. Put it there. Okay. Then let's talk about this year. So this year, here's our big goals. We are going to complete our short film. We're going to complete the script for the feature and hopefully make that, like, get that clear trajectory going. Like we have like the doorway there from the short film, so it kind of follows on from that. Then we have the app, which is in development as well. And we can do another episode. We talk about that a little more in depth and how it's going to work, and also hear from people listening, like what they would use on an app, right? I think is valuable to know. And the other one, though, is where we're going. Where is Jesus Missions going in 2026?
Mars, baby. We got to reach the unreached.
Elon in here.
Gotta go.
He's gonna...
Okay, Jesus Missions 2026, we are going back to the Himalayas. I'm hoping in the first start of this year. This time, we will be filming. I want to do some podcasting out there in the villages so you can see, as an audience, as a listener, what it's really like being in those villages, and talk to some people, hopefully we'll get to those villages, the unreached villages who have never heard of Jesus. We're going to trek Bibles on our backs through checkpoints, and days and days on end of trekking to get to these remote villages, preach the gospel, then interview them and hear about their experience. And even if they choose not to follow Jesus, I just want to hear, like last time we preached to like renowned Buddhist priests in the region, and just hearing their perspectives and seeing what it's like in these villages. And so We're going to do a missions trip there to take Bibles to places that have never heard of Jesus. Then we're going to go to Burundi. And so Burundi, world's poorest nation in Africa, next to Tanzania and Kenya, Uganda, that side of Africa. And that's where Seth's contact is from. We did that podcast with him. So go out there. Again, kind of documenting. I think this is a big piece of kind of what I want to be doing in the missions field, is highlighting to others what's going on there. Because it's just like such amazing work is happening all across the world, and nobody really knows about it. You're like, man, well, let's show like what's happening in Burundi. Like, this is the world's poorest nation. How are they getting by? How do they live day to day? How are they reaching their local communities? And so seeing all that, what's it, Bernard, right?
Yeah, Bernard.
Isn't it? So partnering with Bernard. And then the final one, dun 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 dun, dun, Pakistan.
Was that
So-
the Indiana Jones theme song? Dun, dun, dun,
It
dun,
was.
dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun. Pakistan.
Dun, 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 dun. So I heard about Pakistan when I was like getting in like the reality of what's going on there a few years ago, when I was meeting with another missionary guy based in Nashville, and he goes there every year and he's helping set these slaves free. And he starts to tell me about these, basically what happens there through corruption in Pakistan is these families go into debt to, like, if they're having a baby or something and they can't afford it at the hospital, they go into debt. And that debt causes them to basically be given to these brick kilns, which is like a brick making farm. And then they have to basically make bricks with their hands, but like the whole family becomes indebted. And then like, so it's awful. Like 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day, you can be making bricks. They don't give you protective gear, so your hands start to get diseases and poisoned. There's no facilities, so if you need to use the restroom, you're going right on the side of the street. Like, you'll be abused by the farm workers or the farm owners. Your children, from the time that they can like walk, are making bricks with you. They'll never go to school, and it'll be generational. So if you die, it's not like your debt's written off. It'll just be passed to your son and passed to your daughter. And you make 60 cents a day. 60 cents a day is lower than a slave rate. It's like you will never get out of this, and you'll never be able to pay it off because of penalties and interest. So it is, and the average debt that a family carries is $2,500. One family is in slavery for the rest of their life on a brick farm because of $2,500. It's just it's an awful, awful reality. And when we can do something about it to go and pay off debt, right? For these people. So, have you guys heard of this before?
Only through you sharing
Okay.
the story.
Yeah. So there's a guy, well, one cool endeavor, there's actually a couple that I don't know, but they're based in the Himalayas through YWAM, and they're actually going to move to Pakistan, and they're going to buy their own brick farm and show you can do this without corruption and without slaves.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're looking right now to buy a farm. But there's another endeavor. So another guy I know, John Mark, I had a call with him a couple of years ago. I think he lives in Kona. There's one farm that has 43 families on it as slaves, right? It's a lot of people. And the total debt for them is like $115,000 to set all of them free, right? So he's like, hey, I want to set this whole farm free of slaves. And so he's raising, I think he's up to like $15,000 right now. And I'm going to share my screen in a second and we can like take a look at it. But
Quick question, Rich, on
Yeah.
that. 'Cause you seem
Yeah.
to know, like, let's say 115,000, they get free. Are those brick owners or like those facility worker, the owners, are they now like furious because you've taken all their work, or are they like, oh great, we have this much money now, we can stop making bricks? Like, what's their end goal?
dude, that's a great question. I
Yeah.
actually don't know. And that's why I want to have, so John Mark, I messaged him when I saw what he's doing right now, and I'm going to bring him on the podcast next week
Great.
to
Okay.
talk to him about it so I can hear more of the details. I
Yeah.
talked to one guy who goes over there and helps because they have to do it like when you're paying off their debt, you do it with lawyers. They record it, so it's all legit. So the farmer can never be like, no, they've still my slave. And then they
Okay.
also set up sustainability models for these families. Because if you've been on this farm for years, like you don't have a life outside that farm. So when you get out, like the women have been abused, maybe like sexually abused. So they have to go through like, counseling and rehab kind of centers to like help like recover from that trauma. And then the kids, like they're getting them back in schools and counseling. And then the husbands, they're giving them like this other guy I was connected with. They'd give them like small food stalls that they could then begin like their own small business to like set up their life with. So they're kind of like, we pay off the debt, but then we also help them like move forward in life. And, but I don't know when you set them free if the slave owner's like, oh, we just got all the money paid off, or if they want to keep the slaves. So I don't know. That's a great question to ask. But I'll show you the page and we can kind of look it over together. Okay. So here's one. Can I go here? Oh, I'll go to this one. Okay. Can we set 45 families free from slavery? Now, in Pakistan, there's 3 million slaves, right? So, but this is where it starts. Every family matters. Like these are people who are just caught in slavery. And so, southeast of Islamabad, there's a brick factory where 45 families are trapped in debt slavery. My good friends, Tim and Alicia, are moving to Pakistan to buy this factory. They're going to show the brick industry that it's possible to make bricks and a profit without debts and slaves. They're working with local pastors to create a new business model that involves discipleship and community transformation. I mean, I think this is so cool. It's tackling it. It's like how we're making a film to tackle missions. It's like they're thinking about like, how do we build a sustainable model here and show a different way of doing it? And I think that's really cool. So the average debt is $2,450. That's an impossible sum when they make $5 for 1,000 bricks. $5 to make 1,000 bricks, or 60 cents an hour, which is just crazy. They want to raise $110,000 to free the 45 families. So here's another family. Okay, now they're up to 17,000, and I want to include this in the show description as well. If anybody wants to give to this. I mean, even giving $50, right, or $100. If you can give more, Delisha and I are thinking of paying for a whole family. So there's 45 families. We think we can pay for one of those families. So we're gonna give to this, and then down here they have different options you can do for custom amounts and all that kind of stuff. So again, I think this is amazing, and so I want to have him on the podcast next week to just hear more about like what he's doing, how he's going to go about it, when he's going to go to Pakistan. Because I'm like, man, I'd like to give like a good portion of money to this because I just believe in what they're doing. I heard about it a couple of years ago and it really impacted me. Just modern day slavery. I couldn't imagine having kids and my kids like being on a brick farm with me and like they never get to school. It's just horrific. And I want to go. I want to go to Pakistan with him and be a part of just highlighting and documenting to people, especially through this podcast and through our films, what's happening over there. Anything you guys have to just share or feedback or anything? This is new to you guys. We've talked about
It's new. Pakistan, it's a whole nother thought process there. But it is kind of crazy how the system is set up. And I was just thinking, it's like if they didn't have that system and they emulated kind of what we do, because like it's almost it's literally almost like let's say like the trash people and people that pick up our garbage. It's like obviously they're not less in value, but a lot of us don't want to do that job, right? But there are people that will do that job for an income and they get benefits and all that. And that's a model that could be used over with bricklaying and brick making in Pakistan, where it's like, yeah, not a lot of people are going to want to do, but there are people, especially in a nation where like there's very few opportunities to make money. People are probably going to stay and create bricks. It's not like it, but to have a system where it forces people to make bricks, that's the crazy mindset
It's
there.
corruption because it's like manual labor in itself is not a bad job, right? Like going and doing but it's just you need to be paid a livable wage
Yes.
and not
Right.
be abused. Hey, you need to have restroom facilities. The kids need to be able to go to school, and the person needs to be able to work like not 14 hours a day, but work like 8 hours, 10 hours a day.
And you'll probably have more people wanting to make bricks than what you have now by just forcing them. You know.
So I want to talk to that
think that-
couple too who's trying to buy the farm and hear their perspective and their story. So next week we'll have on John Mark, who's raising this money to pay off the debt, and then we can have this other couple from moving from the Himalayas to Pakistan who wants to buy the farm and hear from them as well. But yeah, Kevin, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was just say it's crazy outrageous. So like you said, it's modern day slavery, and they're just like, oh no, we pay them, but like you don't pay them a livable wage. Like,
60
and
cents is I think what like people prisoners make in prison in
Yeah.
America, right?
that's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know those numbers.
It's something like that. It's like 50 cents a day or something
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
manual labor.
I mean,
you do.
labor is the most, as far, if you're a business, labor is your most expensive. Labor would be like the most expensive. I mean, I'm not a business owner, but I would imagine labor is your highest cost because that's, and it's all greed. Like it all comes down to like the almighty
Yeah, it's
dollar or
corruption and
whatever.
greed. Yeah.
When people are just like, oh yeah, well we could pay them, or we could just get servants, debt servants to do this.
Yeah.
And so I think it's, it's a systemic thing. It's not like, I'm sure they could figure out functioning models for this and like, oh yeah, let's just make it a real job. But I think the point is like, they want to make their X amount of money and not have to pay that to anyone else. It's like you said, corruption and greed.
Just wait till we bring them a 3D printer. They'll go crazy.
Make bricks.
Like, no, what is this?
Anyway, I think this is good. So for everybody listening, Jesus Missions 2026, we are making this short film with Kappa Studios, Crazy God Open Door. We're developing the app. We're writing the feature film. And we have 3 nations we're looking at going to: Himalayas, Burundi in Africa, Pakistan in the Middle East. And so we are taking things to a new level in 2026. If you want to be involved in any level, then you can reach out to me. So you can either email me directly, which is rich@jesusmissions.global, or you can go to our website and fill in the box there. That'll come to my email too. So our website is jesusmissions.global. You can also go to our Instagram, Jesus Missions Global, and you can DM us there. And you can also see everything we're doing there. Or comment below on our YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, send this to people. We want to keep reaching more people. So please, it really will help us if you do that. If you have any thoughts to share, people you want us to interview, nations you want us to go to, ideas you have for the film, the app, we want to hear from you. So write it in the comments so we can begin to address the things that you're thinking through as you hear these discussions with us. Any final words, gentlemen?
I would say, just to encourage people as well, like any topics you want to know more about, if you yourself want to come on, if you're a mission worker and have some crazy stories and you yourself want to come on, like Rich just said, reach out to us. I'd love to hear that stuff. And I think that's this whole thing is literally about reaching the unreached. And so, what better way than to just get people excited and get people on board for it.
Yeah. All right. That's us,
You guys get it all?
gentlemen.
That's
That's it. Jesus Mission 2026. We'll see you on the next episode. We're out.
Thank you for listening to the Jesus Missions podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share.